Okay, guys, for realsies now. Today it must be coming to an end, right? I don't know. I mean, that weird phase of we're getting so close to the end, so I kind of want to see how it all comes down to an end. But that doesn't mean that I'm entirely thrilled that the story is finally coming to a close when it's been so engrossing. But really, it can't be stretched out for much longer now, can it? No. Just the simple facts, right? Anyway, the game, of course, is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and we are at Rise from the Ashes, the final case. Final trial. This was straight up called Trial Ladder 2 on the save file. Just to, mess with you with how many breaks there's been in this damn trial. Oh, boy. We actually worked Damon Gant real good last time, but we just couldn't cinch it. We couldn't get out the proof that he was the one who killed Goodman, Detective Goodman. I mean, we got a lot of stuff pointing to that, and a lot of things he was unable to refute, but he did use his power as police chief to refuse any further investigation and just backed off. And now we're gonna have to try and get the truth out of Lana, who we know is working to try and protect Gant to save Emma. I don't understand why, because the truth has come out about Emma's role in the death of poor Neil Marshall, but still, we'll see how this goes. Before I jump into the actual game, you will have to permit me a little bit more bantering here in the beginning, because I have to address how funny this phenomenon has been. I have to call back one last time before this game ends. Columbo. I don't get it. I talked about Columbo early in this Let's Play because it was the cultural touchstone that for some reason the game reminded me of. Maybe because those first couple of cases were, those Columbo style, we know who the killer is, so we have to find a way to beat him stories. So, but of course, I referenced so many times how out of touch I am to bring up Columbo of all things, an ancient TV show, and how kind of it's not very relevant in today's day and age for me to bring up. Lo and behold, I've been so confused online lately. First of all, I didn't realize that they continued Columbo for a long time, including a couple of TV specials in the early 2000s, 2002, I believe, was the last Columbo production that ever came out. So, new Columbo episodes were coming out at the same time as Flash videos on Newgrounds. That blows my mind. But anyway, for some reason, Columbo is making huge headway on the internet's kind of meme space at the moment. I've seen a lot of Columbo GIFs and animations and memes come up lately, and people talking about the series and how good it is. Culminating in what I think is the most fitting thing for my Phoenix Wright Let's Play is Alasdair... What the heck is his name? Alasdair Beckett King, I think is his name, is this really funny comedian. You may have seen his skits... Every Nordic crime drama is a really funny skit he does, and also every episode of popular sci-fi show, which is a Star Trek spoof. He did Columbo as an anime, which had some strong Phoenix Wright vibes to it when I watched that clip, and I just laughed so hard. I only saw it a day or two ago as of recording this, and I was just yeah, that's so appropriate. So I don't understand what happened that Columbo is suddenly hip again, but I think it's hilarious that my out-of-touchness has somehow reached the next level. The things I'm claiming that I'm out of touch with are actually super in, and I'm totally out of touch with what's popular at the moment, which is super old stuff, because I think that it's out of touch, but it's not. It's... what the hell? All I can say is I'm looking forward to the revival of classic 60s sitcom Mr. Ed, the Talking Horse show, which I referenced in my DuckTales episode last holiday season 2020. which I also pointed out is a freaking dinosaur of a TV show that I can't imagine has any relevancy in our modern day and age, and now I'm just looking forward to how somehow people go nuts for Mr. Ed again online, just to prove me wrong again. I look forward to it. Come on, it's a show with a talking horse. That's hilarious. I'd love to see that come back. Okay, yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, I had too much fun with all this Columbo stuff lately. Let's get into the actual game. Yeah, let's go. Now then, will the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. What are we even testimonizing here? Testifying? Is testify the verb version of testimony? I guess it is. It just sounds weird. But it's not like you can make a noun out of testify. That's like testification. I don't think you can say that. Anyway. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. I guess that's a good place as any to get started, I guess. Yeah. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Alright, Gant and the fabrication. Let's get on with that. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Doc convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Oh, really now? Let's see if we can work that angle, because I have a big doubt for that one. We'll see. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure.
But Lana...
If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Huh. Yeah. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. Good point, Phoenix. Let's not throw in the towel, at least. Come on, now. Let's at least do the cross-examination, yeah? The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Gant and the fabrication. Let's see, so... I don't see... This seems factual, but let's go. Let's be thorough. How many years, exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that will be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why... There's no truth to this blackmail theory. That is a bold-faced lie, but do we have evidence to break that? I don't know. Let's start with the press.
But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail.
You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Oh, yeah?
Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana.
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? I have to say, this is kind of a compelling explanation. You know, petty vengeance, to take that guy down for what he did to Emma. You know, that's a pretty good way to spin that, so kudos to her on that. Unfortunately, it makes our life way harder, and we are going to have to try to figure out what the truth is. Let's ask about this rearrangement.
You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Uh-oh, the music is dimming. This might be very important. It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. Okay, let's pay attention, because what if that's not the case? What if that's what they're going for here? I don't know. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible.
Huh?
The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Doc's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Before we press her on this, I'm now very confused about this. Like, is she in super denial about Emma accidentally killing Marshall? Or is she telling the truth about the trophy knife being in Mr. Marshall's back when she came over there? Like, in which case, that thing I said earlier, like maybe she wasn't the first there, this might be a much trickier thing after all. Like, did someone put the knife before she showed up, put the knife in Marshall's back? Or did someone straight up kill Marshall? Was it Joe Dark who wrestled the knife? Was there a third party? Could Gant have somehow been involved here as well? I don't know. There's too much here for me to get a fix on, to get a grip on, but food for thought. This is pretty big. So let's talk about this, what Lana did here now. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the wound? And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad. But maybe I ought to ask the sake of others. Okay, I kind of read that line bad. My apologies. Whatever, let's move on. But why did you do that? Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Skye fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. Oh yeah, I guess the body... Why move the body would have been an even better one, because that's the less obvious one. This was the obvious one. Tie it to Dark's knife. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Doc. Oh yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, of course it would be weird. It would be weird to, like... Okay, yeah, I see why it was weird to doubt that. Like, what was the point? It was still a murder weapon. It wasn't the sword from the armor, so... Yeah, okay, I guess this is a good thing to question. But I probably still should have gone from the moving the body thing instead. Oh well. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried inside the victim's stab wound? Yes. Because I hated Doc for what he did. My only motivation was to get Doc convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. I kinda want to ask still about the moving of the body. But I guess we'll ask about this one here first. My only motivation was to get Doc convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened!
In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions.
Mr. Wright, my sister's lying!
Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it alone!
I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Oh shit, so I think I know what the puzzle here is, and it's a challenging one. You broke off the tip of knife, planted it inside the wound, and then moved the body. You knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. Here's the thing. I think the game's going to next level with the difficulty now. I think the contradiction is in either these two that were unlocked, or if I maybe unlock a new pair when I ask again about moving the body. I hope that's still a possibility. So the game is adding a further layer of obfuscation by being like, which one do you think has the contradiction in it? And I don't know. I do not know. Like, you broke off the tip of Dark's knife, then planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. I don't see anything here currently messing with that. Let's have a quick look at Goodman's... Why am I looking at Goodman's autopsy report? I'm an idiot. Let's go look at the Neil Marshall case stuff. Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. This all checks out so far. Yeah. Let's see if I can get that other discussion. Where was it? Where was the... And I found Prosecutor Marshall's body. Okay, I think this is right, okay. Wait a second, now I lost it again. Darn it, hold on. Oh, hold on, it popped up again, the text there. Hold on, I gotta go through this again. Okay, the mechanics here are a little unclear to me, but okay. So now we get this again. And now this is the one where they panic, right? Oh, no, now we got this one, okay. So can I get a reset? Can I ask about moving the body? I could swear that dialogue reset there a bit. Man, sorry, I'm like... I'm very unsure. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife. Oh, I think this is the one I needed to press on. Sorry, let's see. This is the one where they panic? Yeah, okay, this is the one. This one the one that had the question at the end. Okay. Sorry guys, it's a tricky one. Alright, so let's ask about the body instead of the knife, because I didn't see anything right away to ask about the knife. With any luck, both the body and the knife things will be in her testimony, so we can freely juggle between the two of them, but... Let's go with this instead, for now, just to check what we get here. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Skye moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Aha! That's interesting. Let's go. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Doc committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Doc was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. Aha! I think I found a contradiction. I see. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere.
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. I think I got the contradiction. Yeah, I think we got it. And this is great. Like, I've been questioning this. I guess we weren't supposed to be clear on when the jar broke earlier, because this was now confirmation. Or was it? She's saying that it was broken when she showed up there, so it must have been broken during the fight? But here's the problem with that statement. Look at this jar. It has Emma written on the surface in blood, and not only that, can we check it? We can't see the cracks on it, but like... It was like properly snapped in the middle, so I think he had to have been able to paint that Emma there while the jar was still whole, which means that he had been stabbed and was dying at the moment. Okay. So I think we chuck this thing out here and now. Let's go! The music cut out! Give it to me!
Miss Skye, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
It doesn't need quotes, Phoenix. It actually was a crime. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction? In my testimony?
You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right. Do you have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies.
Yes, I feel so good when I actually figured the thing out myself, rather than dumbly guessing answers. Yeah.
In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died.
Of course, I suppose you could, if you wanted to make the argument that he wrote it and accidentally tipped it over and then it broke in those moments. I don't know. I mean, I've said that I've criticized rather large leaps of logic in this game before. I guess, in fairness, I should call out this one as well, that you could argue that, but let's see if we can cast enough doubt that we can get to something more meatier with this claim right here.
He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar.
Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. Ooh, I like the dual meaning of bloody there, and also in the kind of colloquial British, "This bloody message on this jar!" We may have been missing something critical here.
Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. But what else is she gonna say? I'm confused. She looks a little confused as well. Jar and message in blood. Yeah, can you explain what you knew about the jar? Can you elaborate at all? I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. Oh my god! He was in there. Oh my god. Let's finish this and I'll explain this in a moment, because oh my goodness. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. I mean, this is gonna come up in a second, I'm sure anyway, but let's really quickly, I will explain for those of you who haven't figured it out itself. So, yes, most of this jar is... Ooh, zoom in. Yeah. Most of this jar, like the blood on this jar, it is like all splotchy because it's been wiped away. However, this part is still very clear, and this part was on the fragment that was in Gant's safe. So is that implying that Lana was unable to wipe that part away because it had disappeared from the scene already, which means that Gant was in the room on that day before Lana showed up? Because it was in his possession. The jar, the piece of the jar with the blood on it. This I said we were going to get something meatier, and oh yeah, this is now a big deal. Again, how am I going to work it out because adventure game syntax? I don't know, but I think we're onto something here big now. I'm feeling real good now about this.